Question 40. Sketch the graph of y equals natural log of x. First of all, this is a graph that I truly believe you should memorize. I will kind of teach this graph to help you come up with a sketch, but the end result, you should really memorize. So, what should we know before we encounter natural log? Well, before we do, the inverse of natural log of x is y equals e to the x. So, what does y equals e to the x look like? Well, we may recall that e is approximately 2.7. And the important part to take out of that is its base is greater than 1. So this e to the x is an increasing exponential function. And the reason it is increasing exponential function, again, is because the base is greater than 1. So what shape should you know for an increasing exponential function? This is the following shape you should know. You should know that its y-intercept is 1. And you should also know that it exhibits asymptotic behavior. So we have an asymptote right here, right on the x-axis. So because this is a horizontal asymptote, it will never cross the x-axis. Has a y-intercept of 1. So this y-intercept of 1 is where the graph will pass through. And it's simple, right? E to the 0 is 1. You could also go over 1 unit if you want. And if we go over 1 unit, this is 1. You know that e to the 1 is e, which is approximately 2.7. So 1, I'm at about 2.7. So I'm going to put a point here, which I think is approximately 2.7. So now I'm going to draw my curve. So my curve for e to the x, it is increasing, so it's close to the asymptote, and then it rises exponentially. Okay, so we should put the equation next to this. This is y equals e to the x. Now, how is natural log in e? Similar? Well, natural log has a base of e, and they are inverses of one another. So we know in an inverse, it's a reflection in the line y equals x. And we also know in an inverse, any point x comma y will become y comma x. So if I take, for example, the point 0 comma 1, that's going to become 1, 0. So 1, 0 is an important point. So here it is. The other point that is fairly important is the point, 1 comma about 2.7. It's a graph, so about is pretty good. 2.7 comma 1. So over 2.7, forgive my scale, up 1. Another consequence of this is the horizontal asymptote with an equation, right? The equation of that horizontal asymptote up here is y equals 0. That becomes a vertical asymptote. So we have a vertical asymptote at x equals 0, right? X comma y becomes y comma x. So y equals 0 will become x equals 0. Your domain will actually become your range. So I'm going to, in nice yellow, I'm going to draw my exponential function. My inverse of my exponential, which is my logarithmic. And I'm going to try to do this as best I can. And that's about as best as I can right now. This is the graph of y equals natural log of x. So, I think we've clearly shown a good sketch of y equals natural log of x. So what do you want to remember? Y equals natural log of x is increasing. If you're going to do calculus, it's concave down. It's not increasing quickly, it's increasing slowly, so it's concave down. Has a y-intercept, it has no y-intercept, and it has an x-intercept of 1. So that's a very important graph, and I suggest that you memorize it.